It's time, Fort Wayne. Your sports, your station. It's the Sports Rush with Brett Rump.
Max Landis.
Covering all the topics that hit a nerve here in the Summit City.
Clark, 11-yard touchdown.
Only on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Now here's your host, Brett Rump.
The greatest, most interesting, most important person of all time.
You are incredible. Over the one. Yeah, well, you're half right. What is this, amateur hour?
This is going to be huge.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour. One frame, maybe.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
That boy ain't right.
The simplest way to put it, I have problems.
Welcome to the alleged show.
What y'all trying to do?
What a beautiful day. It is a Tuesday with the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy, and we've got you connected on the Parkview Sports Medicine text line. 260-447-8500. You're going to want to know that number because we're going to be doing our listener bracket. We'll get it started today anyway. Coming up later in the show. Not yet. Coming up later in the show, we'll actually be taking your picks and see if our listeners can outsmart Adam and or I. That comes up later in the show. Of course, also on the show today, we'll talk to Jeremiah Johnson. He is the pregame, postgame, halftime host of Pacers basketball on TV. And what a great win last night for the Indiana Pacers. They pull off an improbable win. Probably upset a lot of bettors last night because the Pacers started, they played without four starters. Let's just put it that way. And you were seeing guys that appeared in some G League games that were getting significant court time last night. I don't know if it's actual injuries or if it was just fully a night off for a lot of the stars, but there was no Halliburton, no Turner, Nembhard played.
Yeah, but Nembhard or Naismith, one of the two got ejected.
Mathurin, I think, got ejected. I think Mathurin got ejected.
One of them fouled out, too.
Naismith did not play.
And one of them fouled out. And I think Nembhard fouled out.
Yeah, something like that. They were playing with the backups of the backups, except Obi Toppin just decided to go off in overtime.
Yeah, he did.
And hit a crazy shot. You know, it's weird because from the same left corner, one at home, one on the road, the Pacers have basically pulled off miracles.
Yeah.
With the Tyrese Halliburton, the three-pointer and one.
It's good stuff.
To come from 3 points down against the Milwaukee Bucks at home a week ago. And then last night, Obi Toppin with the fadeaway corner three. I mean, the guy was like in full sprint to get to the ball, made the catch and a catch and shoot while he's heading toward the corner. I mean, his whole momentum is fading out of bounds, and somehow he got that shot to drop on the road, and the Pacers get the 1 point win.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the kind of win that might be the difference between being fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
So nice win last night for the Pacers. 132-130 was the final. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Who have been hot.
Yeah, it wasn't even like they were playing some scrub team. They actually took on somebody good on the road and still was able to pull out the victory.
Yeah, I think the Timberwolves have won like 11 of their last 13 or something like that. So definitely a hot team and good win for the Pacers. I can confirm it was Nembhard who got ejected after getting into a scuffle with Rudy Gobert.
Well, Gobert gave him a cheap shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah.
Nembhard had every right to throw the ball and give a shove to Gobert because, I mean, Gobert...
Cheap shot central, man.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Yeah, he
and,
has.
you know, as Nembhard went to drive, he just turned and put his shoulder right into him and gave him a body check, basically.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was a technical for Nembhard for throwing the ball, but unfortunately, it was his second one, so he ended up getting ejected. And it was Mathurin who fouled out.
And I think it was Gobert that got a flagrant for
a flagrant too.
For his foul call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tough night for the Pacers, and they end up winning the game, 132-130. They get the win in overtime again, and they had to come back, too. They were behind
in
the fourth quarter, so they had to come from behind just to get it tied and force the overtime. So what a win for the Pacers last night. Also, we'll talk to JJ about that and about the state of the Pacers and how this team has kind of molded itself together, and they've done it around Tyrese Halliburton. We talked about Halliburton at the beginning of the season, and it was not himself. He was not the Tyrese Halliburton that we expected to see. But over the last couple of months, a different player has emerged. I think the All-Star break was just what he needed. What was the binge watching that he did? What show was it?
Yeah,
The Wire.
The Wire. Yep.
The Wire. Apparently, The Wire was his inspiration for the final stretch run, because he has been unbelievable since the All-Star break, and even had some big games going into the All-Star break. So, Pacers, they go status quo. They stick with the lineup that they've got. I thought it was a mistake. Maybe it's not. We'll see where this goes and how far it can go, especially when you get to the playoffs. But right now, they're making things tough on the top big dogs of the Eastern Conference. They're chasing them down.
Yeah. They're right in a dead weight tie with the Milwaukee Bucks for fourth right now. Both teams 38 and 29, but as of right now, the Bucks do have the tiebreaker. So right now, the Pacers sitting in fifth, Bucks in fourth, but it's like you said, it's right there.
And a couple of teams coming up from behind of the Pacers, you've almost got to keep winning games.
Yeah, Pistons still continue to be hot. They're at 38 and 31, so they're only 2 games back there.
You know who's not hot?
Who's not hot?
The Heat.
No, they lost to my Knicks last night.
They even lost to the New York Knicks. The lowly Knicks beat the Miami Heat.
The Knicks with 5 more wins than the Pacers.
Those lowly New York Knicks.
The 3 seed over
I hope everybody understands my sarcasm. Maybe I've got to overemphasize those lowly New York Knicks.
Disgusting Knicks. But no, hey, man, Pistons have been a hot young team, and they've been fun to watch here.
All right, so today is the day we're going to be filling out brackets, and we're going to give you a chance to call in and make some picks. We'll throw some, and here's the thing. I'm going to give you some tips. You know, how often do you give your opponent? It's almost like stepping into the batter's box and the pitcher telling you what he's going to throw, right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you be the hitter and take your swings, and I'm going to actually tell you what's coming, because I want to give you help on some of these games. I've done research on a lot of the games. Last night, normally I'm kind of preoccupied with the Mastodons Coaches Show, and don't ask me why on Mondays it would preoccupy me when the show is on Tuesdays, but Mondays usually I'm just a little busy.
Right.
You could call it prep. That's sarcasm too. You could call it prep. But
Well,
but Mondays I usually have no time.
No time.
Last night I had time, and I did my prep for the high school semi-state coming up this Saturday, did my research, and then also started doing some research on the bracket, because everybody knows I'm a one bracket guy.
One bracket.
Not really.
No.
I'm like a 10 bracket guy, but I got my bracket started last night, and of course what I want to know is, what is the information I need to know that no one else is going to tell me? And so that's what I've compiled. I've compiled some information. Here's what's interesting. First of all, if you're a Purdue fan, the more you learn about High Point, the more nervous you're going to get. High Point has dominated their conference 2 years in a row. Now, I know it's the Big South, okay? It's not one of the major conferences. But what Alan Huss has done at High Point has been nothing short of remarkable. And you might think, Alan Huss, I think I know that name. Well, you might remember it because he was the coach at Culver Military Academy and then moved on to La Lumiere.
Oh, very familiar names.
Yeah, so that was when they started playing a national schedule, and he was the coach, and obviously very successful at La Lumiere, and that transitioned into getting college opportunities. And now he is the head coach of High Point, and pretty darn impressive. They're number one in offensive efficiency in their conference. They're number one in defensive efficiency in their conference. I mean, they owned the Big South. And so this is a really good High Point team. In fact, they're number 82 in the net rankings, which for mid-majors, here's the list of teams out of what you would call mid-major conferences. UC San Diego out of the Big West, they are the best net ranking at number 35. And then you've got Drake at number 56. McNeese State. I know a lot of people think McNeese State could be a darling in this tournament, coached by Will Wade, former coach at LSU. They are number 58 in the net rankings. At number 60 is Liberty out of Conference USA. Then out of the Ivy League, it's Yale at number 72, and then it's High Point at number 82.
Wow.
Now, teams that fall behind High Point include Lipscomb, Akron, Grand Canyon, Troy, UNC Wilmington, Wofford, Robert Morris, Bryant, Montana, Omaha, Norfolk State, SIUE, American, Mount St. Mary's, Alabama State, St. Francis, all those teams much lower. In fact, kind of embarrassing, the teams that are ranked by the net rankings in above 250. Now, there's only 364 teams, and these teams are ranked above 250, and yet they qualify because they play in the weakest dang conferences. And teams like Alabama State at number 274 and St. Francis of PA playing in the Northeast Conference at 297. I mean, there's a reason that Robert Morris was making the NCAA tournament on a regular basis when they were part of the NEC. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, there's a lot of teams that are much, much further down the net rankings than what High Point is. That's a pretty good team. And, the fact that Purdue lost 5 of 7, I think it was 6 of 9. Purdue's lost 6 of 9. And with that stretch, they fell probably from a 2 or 3 seed down to a 4 and may have even gotten a favorable boost to be a 4. Some people were thinking they might fall to a 5. But then they have to take on one of the best of the mid-majors, and that's what they've got. High Point, really respectable. But I broke down a few games. So if you end up in the part of the bracket, because the way we're going to do it is you're going to call in. I've got a bracket in front of me, and I've got every little section of the bracket, and I've got it broken down where I've got 2 sections for every region, and I've numbered them. And so I've got 1 through 8. And what we'll do when you call in, and if you're the right caller, then we will give you a choice at telling us you want 1 through 8, and I've got a part of the bracket that is labeled with that number. So if you take, for instance, number 5, that might be the West Regional bottom half of the bracket, because I've got it all labeled here. And so that's how we'll do it, so everybody is fair. We can't give you a choice of what part of the bracket you're going to select, because if you're filling out a bracket, you got to fill out the whole bracket anyway.
You still have to make those picks at some point.
Yeah, it's random picks of integrity.
I like it. When are we going to start? Are we going to start next segment?
The listeners did not beat us last year, though.
No, they did not.
They did better than I expected, especially after we had Whiskers. And I think Whiskers is going to try to jump in on this one.
Oh, I know he's chomping at the bits for his section or games or two. We'll see what he chooses. But, yeah, we'll see. And we're going to put them all into the computer so he can track along with the points and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll put them onto a little folder.
Oh, you're going high tech. I was just going to scribble it and on my sheet.
We'll track and see how
I don't have to do that. But, yeah, we're going to be making the picks, the listener picks. Now, what we hope to do is get through the first round, and if there's time, we might start on the second round. And then we'll get to the final. Now, here's the thing. When you get to, let's say, the Elite 8 or the Final 4, you have to remember.
You're dealing with other people's picks.
You're dealing with your team that you want to pick might be
not
gone.
Be there, yeah.
That's why you go to 1380thefan.com and get your own bracket set up.
Yes, sir.
We got our bracket bash right now, chance for you to win some cash, and all you've got to do is go to 1380thefan.com. Now, it's a little tricky. You've got to maneuver your way into contests. Look for the contest tab. And when you click on contest, you'll see the bracket bash, and you can go ahead and get signed up there. And big thanks to all of the sponsors of our bracket bash. including Winner's Circle out in New Haven, where we will be coming up this Thursday and Friday from 4 to 6.
Going to be a lot of fun out there, getting all the opening round games on all the TVs, hanging out with, all the drink specials. We won't be partaking, of course, but we will partake in the food specials.
And also a big thanks to Midwest Box Breaks for their support of our bracket contest and Back 40 Junction. So always appreciate those that make it happen. But we've got our bracket that you can fill out individually. But we also need your help because, when we do these listener brackets, we're at the liberty of listeners actually being willing to participate. So if you're listening to this show, don't be a coward.
No.
Do not be a coward. Do not,
Put your sports knowledge on the line.
Step up and, show us that you've got some kahunas and make your picks.
Yeah, well, are we going to start next segment?
There are no bad picks.
Okay.
Because any pick you make that's not a good pick would favor Adam and I, and we think it's a great pick.
We love that.
We love it because we need to be able to beat you. We don't want the listeners to embarrass us. All right, Adam, tell me what's happening in the world of sports.
All right.
Today's top headlines with Adam Lundy.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett. Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw 5 strong innings. Shohei Ohtani had 2 hits and scored twice. And the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Chicago Cubs 4-1 this morning in MLB's season opener at the Tokyo Dome in Japan.
Sounds like a Japanese all-star game. You going to give us any American names at any point? I mean,
I'm not.
No, it's all Japanese players that starred today.
Yeah, because you had Yamamoto for the Dodgers and it was Imanaga for the Cubs. So it was just, a lot of Japanese over there playing the baseball.
And it was very early this morning, that game was played.
6, right around 6 in the morning. 4 players have been named finalists for 2025's Miss Basketball presented by the Indiana Fever. The winner of the award will be announced on noon on Wednesday. Your list includes Addie Baxter of Columbia City. Congratulations to her. You also have Jayla Lampley of Lawrence Central, Maya Makalowski of Hamilton Southeastern, and Meredith Tipner of Noblesville.
Yeah, Makalowski.
All right. You've got Brett's pick there.
Yep.
Johnny Broom of Auburn and Cooper Flagg of Duke were unanimous first-team picks for the Associated Press's men's college basketball All-American teams released today. They were joined on the first team by Alabama star Mark Sears, Purdue's Braden Smith, and Walter Clayton Jr. of Florida.
I was just going to ask if Braden Smith had made the All-American team.
Sure did, my friend. And those are your today's top stories.
All right. Once again, coming up after the break, we got a couple of stories, and then we're going to open it up. So get ready with the phone number.
Let's
260-447-8500, 260-447-8500, and we're going to have our listener bracket engagement ready to go. So we'll have that after the break. Also, all eyes on Drake. No, I'm not talking about the singer. I know he's very delightful to look at for the ladies, apparently. But no, all eyes right now are on Drake. We'll tell you why. And Indiana has one of their players heading to the transfer portal. We'll tell you who it is coming up after our timeout. I've also got to tell you, spring break's coming up. You're probably a week or 2 away from heading on the road, and maybe you're driving. Well, you want to have the car completely ready. And to do that, you take it to Cruzy Automotive Service and get the spring break ready checkup and make sure that car's ready for the road. They'll check hoses, belts, your tires, your brakes. I mean, all the things that are important to be working properly before you go hundreds of miles away from home. Because you know what happens if you have a car problem and you're hundreds of miles away from home and you have to go to a shop you've never gone to before. And they get your address and they know you're an out-of-towner and you're kind of stuck. Oh, yeah. Where's that cash register sound, Adam? Because I know what's happening when they get their bill. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. But Cruzy Automotive Service, they're ethical. They'll take care of you in a very professional manner, and they'll be able to check everything for you when you get your next oil change. And they're going to save you big time on the oil change, just $19.95 for a full-service 5-quart oil change. That's $19.95. Just tell them the Sports Rush sent you at Cruzy, K-R-U-S-E, Automotive Service Center. They're on Lima Road, North Wall and south of Till, right behind the Shell gas station. Don't delay. You want to have your car ready for the road trip. You don't want to have any surprises while you're hundreds of miles away from home. That's Cruzy, 489-1089. Call now for your appointment, 489-1089 for Cruzy Automotive Service. Welcome back to the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. Of course, we talked about all eyes being on Drake, and it's not necessarily just the basketball team, although the Drake Bulldogs, I think, are going to be a popular pick for an upset in March Madness. But the Drake Bulldogs, 30 wins this year, and not only their coach, who is being somewhat sought after, but their former coach. And today, Pete Thamel or Thamel? I have no idea. Thamel.
I say Thamel.
Thamel? Okay, so Pete Thamel from ESPN reporting that Darian DeVries is not in the running to become the next Iowa coach, that his plans are to stay at West Virginia. Now, the question is, you can rule out Iowa. Do you also rule out the Indiana Hoosiers?
Oh, interesting.
Because apparently he's someone that the Hoosiers might have interest in.
Who aren't the Hoosiers interested in right now?
Yeah, anybody out there that's won games. But no, he turned around West Virginia in 1 year.
Yeah, and we're considered a snub for this year's tournament.
Although, again, like I said yesterday, if I had a choice between Ben McConnell or Darian DeVries, I'm not the guy interviewing him, but I'm going McConnell.
All right.
Younger, national championship coach, won multiple titles at Northwest Missouri. Yes, it was Division II, but it's still not an easy task to get a team all the way through the tournament and then to do it 4 times in 8 years. Are you serious?
That is impressive.
Yeah, he built a dynasty. And then his first year at Drake, he brings a bunch of guys out of D2 and turns them into a 30-win team in a very competitive Missouri Valley Conference league. So I'm impressed with what Ben McConnell has done in 1 year at Drake, but even more impressed what he did in his last 8 years at Northwest Missouri State. So I think I would go that way. But I'll tell you this. The more I do the research, the more I'm kind of impressed. And I think, if I'm IU, I've got to at least make a call and perhaps an interview with Alan Huss, the coach of High Point. He's got Indiana connections. All he's done is win.
No matter what?
Yep. But anyway, you've got him at La Lumiere a long time ago.
Sure.
But then 2 years at High Point, and I think they've won, 60 games?
Yeah, I mean, we know they won 30 this year, and they're in the tournament.
Yeah,
so.
And they were pretty close last year. I don't know if they won 30 or had 28-29, but they were a very good team a year ago.
Still good now, too. So look out, Purdue.
I think, it might be a guy at least that I would put on my list to talk to.
Right. I mean, give him an interview. Like, we've seen you have success in football from bringing in a coach who's had a lot of success at lower levels. Why not give it a shot with basketball? Well,
that's my thinking actually with McConnell.
Yeah.
Is that if you're looking for the next Curt Cignetti, and how many people reacted when Mike Woodson said he was stepping aside? How many people joked about Cignetti coaching basketball or finding the next Cignetti? I'll tell you what, McConnell might be that guy. Now, he does have that mid-level at Drake, but that's also what James Madison was. And to me, there are similarities.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to throw a trivia question at you real quick before we get to our bracket. Do you know who was the coach of High Point from 2003 to 2009?
Well, Tuesday Time Capsule Trivia comes up later.
It's Bart Lundy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, you know him.
Coach of the Milwaukee Panthers in the Horizon League.
Yep, did some time at High Point.
All right. Also today we learned in a social media post that Gabe Cupps is transferring from IU. The most startling thing about this announcement is Gabe Cupps is still at IU. I mean, I forgot. We made an appearance with the guy last fall.
We did. We met up with them.
Him and Sidney Parrish.
Yep.
We had an appearance, and then Gabe Cupps played in 4 games and basically just disappeared off the face of the earth. We didn't even know he was dressed.
Yeah, did not get much.
I don't know if he was dressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what happened to him this year. He played like 20-some games a year ago and started a good chunk of them.
Didn't he have some injury that he was dealing with at the start of the season? And then I think maybe just kind of solidified into Woodson having his lineup set. But, yeah, definitely going to be looking for more playing time.
Do you think Gabe Cupps gets a power conference opportunity? Or is he a guy that would go maybe Horizon League?
I mean, I'd love to see him.
Maybe fill a void left by Jalen Jackson or something like that.
Now you're getting interesting. But
yeah, now I'm tampering.
Now you're tampering. But no.
He already announced. I can say what I want.
He's in the portal. I would love to see him thrive at a mid-major. I think it might be a similar experience if you try to go to another Power 5.
Well, here's the issue, because I brought this up to someone earlier today when I saw that he was transferring, because here's the intriguing part. Sometimes you overanalyze things, but that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to get to the bottom of what's really happening. And Wright State earlier today had 2 guards that entered the portal. Keaton Norris, their starting point guard, and Alex Hubricks, their starting shooting guard. 2 guys enter the portal. Both were starters. Both played heavy minutes last year. And so it was kind of odd both of them leaving. Right. And then about 2 hours later, I see this post from Gabe Cupps. Gabe Cupps is from the Dayton area. Wright State is in Dayton.
Yeah.
Things that make you go,
Makes you think for sure, man.
And that's why I asked if you thought he'd get another power conference opportunity, because I wonder if Wright State is backing up the Brinks truck and it's offended a couple of the players on the team that they're going to offer Gabe Cupps all this cash to come in. And basically, he would be taking a guard spot, right?
Yeah, he definitely would be.
6'2" guard.
Yeah.
And so they have a 6-foot guard and a 6'3" guard that both entered the portal today.
Interesting. We'll have to keep our eye out on where Mr. Cupps lands.
260-447-8500, 260-447-8500, the Parkview Sports Medicine text line. It's also our phone line, and it is time for you to place your call.
Let's do it.
Caller number 2. We're going to start with caller number 2 at 260-447-8500, and you're going to be able to make picks on the listener bracket, the official Sports Rush listener bracket. You will be our first listener to make picks, but you got to give us a call at 260-447-8500, 260-447-8500. We're trying to avoid Whiskers being the very first caller. And I think we've got somebody now that is on the line, so let's wait and find out if we're going to get somebody on the air who's willing to make some picks. Now, once again, the way we set up our bracket is every region we've divided into 2 sub-quadrants, and so we've got 8 sub-regions. And you'll pick 1 through 8, and I'll match you up with whatever set of games corresponds with that number. Okay, let's get to the phone line, find out who we've got for our first listener to make picks on the listener bracket. Who's this?
This is Mark.
Mark, you don't go by Whiskers, do you?
I do not.
All right, good. We've avoided Whiskers one more time. All right, Mark, now are you a bracketeer? Are you somebody who fills out brackets for the tournament?
I do. We do it with the family every year. So me and the kids do one every year. But I just do one.
Oh, okay.
I don't do multiple.
Yeah, I can't help myself. Once I get logged in, I just can't. At the end, after you submit your bracket, it asks you.
Yeah, do you want to make another?
Do you want to make another? And I just cannot say no. I can't help it. So I end up like 10 or 11 brackets. And, the thing is, I can have a complete bust on one of my brackets, but if I got a bracket that's got a good Final Four, I'm still in play and still got something going. All right, Mark, what I need you to do, I've got every region divided by 2, so there's 8 sub-regions here. And I numbered them randomly 1 through 8. Just give me a number, and I'll tell you what games you've got.
All right, let's do region number 3.
Okay, and number 3 is, it is the Midwest region and the bottom half of the bracket. And let's see, your first game to pick is going to be it's going to end up being a play-in matchup. Illinois is going to take on the survivor of Texas and Xavier.
I'm I'm going to roll with Illinois in that game. We're going to roll with the Illini.
Okay. I think Illinois will be a favorite over either one, but that could be one of those if Illinois doesn't show up, and they've not shown up a few times this year. Okay, game number 2 out of this bracket. Kentucky versus Troy.
I'm going to have to roll with the Wildcats. Take Kentucky there.
Yeah, anybody in Indiana, it's very tough to publicly state that you're rolling with the Wildcats.
Yep.
But you almost have to there. 3 versus 14. All right, let's next game. This could be an interesting game.
I like this.
Yeah, because you've got UCLA with Mick Cronin, a name that has been popped up every once in a while associated with IU.
Yeah.
And then you've got Utah State, who's being coached by the former Youngstown State coach. And so UCLA, Utah State, it's a 7-10 matchup. This could be the most challenging. In fact, I will say this is the most challenging pick for Mark.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Utah State.
Okay.
Okay, already.
Right. Aggies.
Mark is throwing the bracket into a wrinkle for everyone else. All right.
One more.
Let's go to the final pick in your section. It's Tennessee, a number 2 seed, against Wofford.
Terriers.
Yeah, I think we got to roll with the Vols there and take Tennessee.
Oh, thank goodness, because, Whiskers would have been taking Wofford.
Hey, the Vols mascot is a dog. They have whiskers, too.
Oh, yeah, I guess. He could have maybe justified that one. All right. We're going to be taking picks all day today and probably some tomorrow, filling out the bracket. Here's the challenge to our listeners. We're trying to see if the listeners can out-bracket Adam and I. So, Mark, appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you listening even more. And good luck.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, that is Mark. And, of course, remember, you can fill out your brackets personally by going to 1380thefan.com. Click on contest. We've got our bracket bash with a chance for you to win cash. And so if you want to have your own bracket, not share it with a bunch of other people, you can do that. So if you're a little narcissistic or something, you can go ahead and have your own bracket. All right.
Yeah.
Should we try to sneak in one more?
Let's get one more, yeah.
Let's try to sneak in one more before we go to break. All right, so caller number 2, 260-447-8500, 260-447-8500. We'll give you a chance to enter our listener bracket challenge and see if you can put together a bracket that ends up being better than the one that Adam and I post on the bracket challenge online. But anyway, coming up on the show, by the way, Jeremiah Johnson's going to join us coming up at around 5:20 this afternoon. All right, we've got another listener ready to do their part to help our listeners bracket. Who's this?
Walt.
Paul.
Who? Paul?
Paul.
Walt.
Oh.
Walt.
Walt.
Okay, sounds like you're driving, Walt.
I am.
We got you, though.
We hear more of the car noise than you.
Nah, we got him.
We're going to get through this, Walt. All right, give me a number 1 through 8, but you cannot pick number 3.
Number 5.
Number 5, you know what? This is going to complete the Midwest Regional.
Oh, hey, right.
Yeah, because number 3 was the bottom half. Number 5 is the top half of the Midwest Indianapolis Regional, and that means you start off with number 1 Houston against SIUE. I don't even think I have to ask.
We're going to go with the Cougars, even though I'm not a big fan of the coach.
All right.
Well, and what's interesting, I think SIUE is the Cougars.
I think they are, too, yeah.
So let's give him SIUE.
No, we'll go Houston.
Okay, you've got Houston. Here's the challenger. You've got that 8-9 game next. And it's Gonzaga versus Georgia.
Oh, man.
I'm taking the Zags.
Hey, I'm gonna give you some data on this because first of all, I did some research on KenPom to look at this game, and KenPom agrees with you. They've got Gonzaga winning this game by 6. Gonzaga right now in the KenPom ratings, which is all based on analytics, is number 9, and Georgia's number 34. So I think you're probably leaning the right way here. All right, third game is going to be Clemson versus McNeese State. It's a 5-12 game. A lot of people like McNeese State, but are they good enough to knock off
This
Clemson?
is one of my upset picks. I picked McNeese State.
Okay, he's going with the wild
Cowboys,
card, the
yeah.
McNeese State. And fourth game for you, Purdue versus High Point.
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going with Purdue.
An IU fan, not Purdue. Clearly you're an IU fan, aren't you?
I certainly am.
All right, so who's going to be the next coach, or who do you want as the next coach?
I'm hoping it's McCollum from Drake as my pope anyway, but
He's going with me.
either him or Chris Beard, but that would be my two choices.
All right. Appreciate you, and good luck. And you've got your picks recorded. Thank you very much for listening, and thanks for playing. All right.
Thank you.
We've got two of our 8 rounds here.
Crushing it. I like the picks so far.
Yeah, I mean, High Point, man, I tell you, Purdue better come ready to play.
I know, man. That's another tough first round for Purdue.
I mean, I'll give you a perspective. High Point, number 82 in the net rankings. Do you know who was number 83?
No, I don't.
Butler.
Oh, yeah.
High Point did not play a Q1 game this year, a Quad 1 game.
Oh, that's interesting, though, too.
But they played a Quad 2 game, and they're 1-0 against Quad 2.
Interesting.
They're 8-3 against Quad 3. And then 18-2 bowling up on the Quad 4 teams.
Got to do what you got to do.
But
Get those wins.
But listen to this. High Point was 6-1 in neutral site games, 7-3 in true road games, and the last loss for High Point, January 16th.
Wow.
They've won 14 straight coming in to the game Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous, Purdue fans.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, let's keep rolling. We'll
Let's
take
do
a
it.
break. We're going to come back. We've got more of the listeners' bracket to complete. Also at 5:20, we'll talk some Pacers basketball with Jeremiah Johnson. It's a Tuesday edition of the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Are you looking forward to our Winner's Circle remote?
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Am I supposed to talk about?
Yeah.
I will talk about the remote because I am excited about it. We're going to be out there on Thursday and Friday at Winter Circle in New Haven, one of our hot spots that we've been at the last couple of years, and we love watching the games because they've got so many flat screens right on the wall. It's a wide open room, so you don't have any obstructions. You get a booth or a chair or a table, and you just kick back with us, and you watch the games. And you know you're going to be doing it anyway, so you might as well do it with us.
Might as well.
4 to 6 Thursday, 4 to 6 again on Friday. And, of course, they've got fantastic drink specials. You've got $2.25 drafts. You've got buckets of beer for $15, $2 off a half a rack of ribs. There we go. We're gonna split some ribs, Adam.
Oh, you know I'm down.
Of course, one of the nice things about Winter Circle when we go out there is you can put a little something on the games of your choice. You can watch the results, and then you can go grab your cash. Because if you win, you don't have to wait for transfers. You go right to the window, and they hand you some green bills. It's awesome. And we'll be out there this Thursday and Friday broadcasting the Sports Rush live. It's Winter Circle Race Sports Pub. It's in Lutheran Health Plaza. That's on Minnick Road at the intersection of Highway 30 in New Haven. Got the messages coming in. You can still text the show at 260-447-8500. The Parkview Sports Medicine text line, 260-447-8500. Also, we've got some tweets that have been sent our direction. Our good buddy Ryan Eaton up in LaGrange, he says he's got a problem with Ben McCollum because they play one of the slowest paces, and the offense and defense is in the middle of the pack. Actually, offensively, they're very efficient, but they're just not a team that's going to play at a fast pace. Part of the reason, it's great coaching. Ben McCollum put together a team of a lot of D2 athletes, which are not as quick, fast, and athletic as some of the D1 teams that they're playing. And so his strategy, and this is one of my arguments against the shot clock in high school basketball, because I think in some ways not having a shot clock helps to even the playing field for teams that don't necessarily have built-in athleticism versus teams that are very freakishly fast and maybe even more talented. But with Drake, and they still have talent, but they are not just one of the slowest teams as far as pace. They are the slowest team as far as pace in the entire NCAA Division I. They're 364 out of 364.
The Drake men below.
So,
my goodness, that's slow.
So when you watch Drake play, coming up in a couple of days, whenever I don't know exactly when they play, but when you do watch them play, keep in mind that it is not a problem with your TV and it is not instant replay. It's actually full speed that you're watching. They just, as Ben McCollum explains it, they like to be selective and they like to get the exact shot that they're looking for. That's one reason why they have an efficient offense, that they work very patiently for good shots. And they'll pass up good shots for great shots, especially if it's early in the shot clock. And so, do you want the fundamentals that Drake has displayed this year, or do you want up and down basketball where they're constantly turning it over?
Drake is in action on Thursday, 7:35 p.m. against Mizzou.
Also reminded by Rick, friend of the show, that the reason High Point didn't play any Quad 1 teams this year is because they kept trying to schedule power conference teams that would not play them.
Oh, interesting.
Because the problem is, and the Mastodons have experienced this over the last few years. Mm-hmm. If you're a good mid-major, it becomes very difficult to get games against power conference teams because they already are going to have a certain set of games that are played against top 50 or top 75 teams on the net ranking. And what they look for to complete their schedule is to beat up on the teams that are in the 300s. And part of the net rankings calculated based on margin of victory. And so you don't want to play a team that's kind of middle of the pack that on a good night could make it a very close game because it crushes your net ranking. And so it's very hard to get those games scheduled because there's not a huge benefit to the Quad 1 team or the Power Conference team in scheduling you. And so I know Alan Huss said that he was trying to get a game with Purdue. Now, he said that the dates just didn't align and they weren't able to work one out. But I know the Mastodons have had the problem because of how the numbers all work against the net ranking and all of that. 2-6, and Indiana should learn that.
Yeah.
Because they screwed themselves this year by not scheduling the right non-conference schedule because they ended up with a net ranking that was mid-50s?
Yeah, mid-50s.
That's not good enough. You need to be down at least in the mid. Remember, I told you, I said they got to break 50. They got to be in the 40s to feel comfortable.
And they didn't.
And they didn't make it.
Nope.
260-447-8500. Go ahead and give us a call if you want to be part of our listener bracket. We got time for one more this hour. And so we're in the first round, and so far we've completed the Midwest Regional. But if you'd like to be our next caller and next listener to participate in our listener bracket, just give us a call at 260-447-8500, and we'll let you pick away at it's Whiskers, isn't it?
It's Whiskers.
I knew it was going to be Whiskers. All right. But here's the fun part. He doesn't get to choose what part of the bracket. He may get no one with Whiskers. Whiskers, how are you today?
It's Whiskers.
I know it's Whiskers. Adam's already warned me. All right. So, Whiskers, we're giving you a choice here of what quadrant, but it's kind of a blind draw here.
That's good. That's good. Some animals are blind.
Okay, well, and they've got whiskers. All right, the numbers are 1 through 8, and you cannot pick 3, and you cannot pick 5.
Okay.
What number would you like?
In honor of Caleb first, give me number 1.
Number 1, where are they at? They are in the West Regional, and it's the top half of the bracket.
Oh, this one's complicated. Okay.
And you're going to have the Florida Gators against Norfolk State. The Mastodons just played Norfolk State last spring, and I have no idea what their mascot was.
Aren't they the Spartans or something like that?
Yeah, I think, that's what it is. They're the Spartans. So I don't know that you really have true whiskers here, but Florida's number 1 ranked, and, hey, Gators don't have whiskers, but I think you're going to have a hard time justifying Norfolk State here.
Okay, well, the Spartan code was no facial hair, Brett.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, he's figured out
If there
some
was an
way.
animal that would have whiskers because of its great sense of direction, it'd be a gator.
Okay.
Give me the
all right.
gator.
He had to figure out a way to tie gators into whiskers. All
I
right.
like it.
So Florida, and then you've got UConn. Now we all know UConn's the Huskies, so obviously with whiskers, and the Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, yeah, got to give me the Huskies. Because they got whiskers.
And let's see, what's Colorado State's?
They're the Bison.
Oh,
right?
Rams.
Rams. You got it.
Oh, so Rams would have whiskers, but so would the Memphis Tigers. So you've got an all whiskers matchup here.
All right, so when I did my whiskers bracket, Memphis actually made it to the finals because their tiger is blue.
Okay.
Okay.
So when they would face Auburn, another tiger, their tiger would overpower the Auburn tiger because their tiger has blue stripes.
Not enough blue for you?
Oh, man. Okay, so whiskers, my head spinning. Who did you just pick? You picked Memphis.
Are we going with Memphis here?
Oh, yeah. They got better whiskers.
Okay, Memphis.
Okay.
All
The
right.
blue tiger.
And then we've got the
Terrapins.
Terrapins, the Maryland Terrapins against is it the Antelopes?
They're technically the Lopes, but that is
Lopes.
short for antelope, yeah.
Okay, so Maryland versus Grand Canyon is the final choice you've got.
Pains me to say it because I do like Maryland, but antelopes do have whiskers.
All right.
All right, so he's
Our
taking
first upset, I think.
Yeah, that's a 4 versus 13.
All right.
Now I've got some notes on that game too.
Let's hear what we got.
I can pass this along. Ken Palm says Maryland's going to win this game by 14 points.
Oh.
So apparently those are pretty powerful whiskers you're going to find on the Lopes.
Well, the Lopes, they do that. Tyus Johnson or whatever, he's like an NBA draft pick.
He is good.
Well, you've got Maryland number 12 right now in Ken Palm's overall rankings, and Grand Canyon is number 93.
Definitely an upset.
Even Rome fell, Brett.
Maryland also 6th in defensive efficiency, while Grand Canyon is 149 in offensive efficiency. And, in fact, Maryland, I think, is top 30 in offensive efficiency. So you're going against a lot of numbers here, Whiskers, just because of your passion and your devotion to teams with whiskers.
I got whiskers, man.
I know.
Hey, we got to do it.
It's the way he picks them.
All right. Hey, thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, Whiskers. Have a great
All right. Till next time.
All right. That is Whiskers joining in. We knew it was coming.
Always a cast of colorful characters on our call
We knew
line.
it was coming. All right. We're going to take a break for the top of the hour. We'll get to more bracket callers coming up after 5 o'clock. Also, we'll get to Jeremiah Johnson from the Pacers television broadcast and talk Pacers basketball, including that crazy win last night in overtime. We have to dig deep on the roster to see who these guys were that were actually out there playing to finish that game off. But Obi Toppin, he got his opportunity to be the go-to guy, and he took full advantage of it. Oh, you didn't see that when he was a Knick, did you, Adam?
Every now and then, but he was definitely playing behind Randall.
Yep. So anyway, we'll talk to JJ coming up at about 5:20. It's been a while since we've had him on the show, so it'll be kind of fun to catch up with Jeremiah Johnson coming up at 5:20. It's all part of a Tuesday edition of the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.